Yo, what's going on everybody? My name is Ryan, I'm a CPA, and today I'm going to be talking about the new student loan forgiveness stuff that President Joe Biden has announced, the new plan. There's a lot to cover here. There's a lot of new stuff changing within the student loan realm, so be sure to listen, take notes, whatever you need to do. I'm sure you've been reading a lot about it, but I just figured it'd be good to make a video that would summarize everything and hopefully answer a lot of your questions. Okay, so what's included in this plan? First, there is a $10,000 forgiveness for each individual if you're eligible, and I'll talk about the eligibility in a second. And it's up to $20,000 if you receive the Pell Grants at any time during your loan, anytime you borrowed money. So I'll talk about that later. Also, the plan has a new income-based repayment plan that will make things a lot easier for current borrowers, and also, the plan also extends the repayment of student loans through December 31st of 2022. For eligibility, who is eligible for this forgiveness and what kind of loans are eligible? So, first of all, we're going to talk, in this entire program, we're talking about federal student loans only. If you have student loans through a private institution like Wells Fargo or Chase or something, that does not really apply to anything I'm talking about right now. And I believe the administration is working on a plan, or they're still talking about how to work with people who have private lending student loans. But for now, we're just going to talk about federal student loans. Federal student loans up to $10,000 per individual are forgivable, up to $20,000 if you have received the Pell Grant at any time during your education. The income requirements here. If you're an individual, you have to make under $125,000 per year. And if you are married, then you have to make under $250,000 per year in order to qualify. If you're an employee of a nonprofit organization of the federal government, the state government, the local government, or any tribal entities, you actually may qualify to have your entire loan forgiven based on the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. This new plan, this Biden plan, has made things a little easier for folks to have their entire loans forgiven if they are enrolled in that program. But the eligibility requirements that are easier expire in October 31st of 2022. So if you fall under that category, please go to pslf.gov and make sure you're enrolled in the Public Service Student Loan Forgiveness Program, as they are making things a bit easier for those loans to be fully forgiven. Okay, so check that out. I'll link it in the description below. Okay, so with all this information, do you have to do anything in order to get this forgiveness? For about 8 million people, and I think that's for a lot of folks, most people probably, the government already has your income information and they have all your data, so the forgiveness should happen automatically. But if for some reason they don't, or if for some reason you don't think they do, you can apply for the forgiveness. There's going to be a simple application that the government's going to issue sometime in October that you can just go on there, apply online, and then forgiveness should happen within 4 to 6 weeks of your application, as long as you're eligible. The government recommends that you apply for the forgiveness by November 15th of 2022 in order to get your loans forgiven before the repayment pause has ended. Although you do have until December 31st of 2023 to apply for forgiveness if you haven't received it automatically. If you want to find out if you want to be alerted as to when the forgiveness application comes out, there is a Department of Education subscription service that you should sign up for. I'll link it in the description below, but sign up to that. They are going to notify you when the application to apply for the forgiveness opens up, and you can go from there. Now, how do you check if you have the Pell Grant? I think it's fairly simple. You're going to go to your federal student aid website. I think it's the portal where it shows all your student loans and stuff. And then there's a tab or an option on there that says Aid Summary. You're going to click on Aid Summary. And if you look through there and you see any line item for the federal Pell Grants, even if it's like $5 or $1, if you receive any federal Pell Grants, that increases your loan forgiveness from $10,000 to up to $20,000. Okay. So what does up to $20,000 mean? It means that if you have an outstanding loan balance of $15,000, then you're just going to get $15,000 forgiven, and that's it. You're not going to get $20,000 and get to keep $5,000 of cash. So that's all that means. Some other considerations that you have to know, some questions I've been getting, questions that I see a lot of people asking. I'm going to go over those right now. So will this be taxable? This forgiveness, will it be taxable? Well, according to the American Rescue Plan that was set forth in 2021, this specific forgiveness will not be taxable. This $10,000 or $20,000 forgiveness will not be taxable, according to the federal government. Now, that means that states can still make it taxable. Mississippi just announced as it is the first state to impose income tax on any student loan forgiveness on this program. So be on the lookout for your state, because it might, they might not conform to federal government laws. Are Parent Plus loans eligible for forgiveness? Yes, they are eligible, but the loans eligibility will go off of the parent's income rather than the actual student's income. And this is because, the parents are the technical borrowers of these loans. So they are eligible as long as the parents meet the income threshold. Are federal family education loans forgivable? Maybe. If you have one of these loans and it was qualified to go under the Repayment pause program that the Trump administration and the Biden administration have been enacting, where you don't have to pay it back this whole time, is it forgivable? Yes, if it qualified to be paused. If not, then they are not forgivable. If you have never graduated college, or if you never got your degree or finished your degree, is your loan still forgivable? The answer is yes, it is. What if you use your loans for a graduate program or an associate's degree, anything other than a bachelor's degree, even a trade school? Will those loans be forgivable? And the answer is yes, they will be. What if you're still in school? If you're still in school, are your loans forgivable? Yes, as long as you meet the income thresholds. So if you are under 24 right now, then your loans will be forgivable if your parents' income falls under the threshold. But right now, if you're over 24, you're considered an independent borrower, then the government will base your income off of your income rather than your parents' income. So it all depends there. But yes, even if you're still in school, you may still be eligible for forgiveness. Okay, so some people have also been asking, or they might be mad that they've been making payments during the pause. The federal government stopped requiring you to make loan payments. People still did it anyway because they wanted to pay off their student loans quickly since it's not accruing interest. Those people, you can actually request a refund of the payments that you made up to your eligible forgiveness amounts. So, a good example of this would be like if you, maybe before the pandemic started, you had $10,000 of student loans left. And then March 16th, 2020, the government paused your payment requirements, but you still kept making payments the entire time, and you paid off your entire student loan of $10,000. So now the Biden administration issues forgiveness, but you're mad because you paid off your student loans already. You don't get any money, you don't get any relief. Well, good news is, since you did continue paying your loan off during the pause, you can request a refund of your payments and your loan will still be forgiven. So that is how that works. So just, play around with that idea based on how much payments you made throughout the pause, what your loan balances was and all that. Just play around with that idea. And, if you made any payments and it caused you to have a reduced forgiveness amount, then you can request a refund for the difference. So the last thing I want to talk about is the income-based repayment plan changes, which I think is a major, major change and a huge game changer. I think even more so than the actual, $10,000 or $20,000 forgiveness, because a lot of folks are on income-based repayments plan. And the problem is, when you're on this plan, your loan balance could still be growing because it's based on your income, and your income payments might not even be enough to cover the interest rate. So if it's not enough to cover the interest rate, then your loan balance is actually still growing during the time. So this is why I think this is even more of a big deal than the actual forgiveness. So first of all, the Biden administration is planning on reducing your payment amount to 5% of your discretionary income rather than 10%. So your payments are going to be even lower. They're also increasing the amount of things that could be considered non-discretionary, so that will even further potentially lower your payment amounts, which is awesome. Okay. Next, they're actually going to cover any unpaid interest on your loan as long as you're making payments. So this is huge, because let's say your minimum payment is like $10 a month, but because of how your loan is structured, your interest expense for the loan is actually like, I don't know, let's say $100 a month. So before this plan, your loan balance would be growing by about $90 per month, because you're paying $10, but your interest is $100, so you have $90 of unpaid interest. What this plan does is it's going to say, hey, you made a $10 payment, we're going to cover your $90 of unpaid interest so your loan balance doesn't grow. Why this is a big deal is, now it is my understanding, at least, this might change, I don't know, but it is my understanding that if you at least make your minimum payment of $10, the government will cover the other $90 of unpaid interest. Let's say you wanted to make an additional payment, okay, or pay a little extra for the month. Let's say you wanted to pay $100 instead of 10. Well, now you get the additional $90 applied to principal rather than to interest. So now I believe it's going to make things a lot easier for folks to pay off their student loans more quickly by doing this. So yeah, this is why I think this is huge, because most people have student loan balances greater than $10,000 or greater than $20,000. So yeah, they're going to get the $10,000 forgiven, they're going to get the $20,000 forgiven, but they're still going to have a large balance. So with this income-based repayment plan change, it's going to make it a lot easier, much easier, in my opinion, for people to pay off their loans quicker. With that being said, I think that is the heavy hitter there, the change in income-based repayments. I hope people take advantage of it, and I hope people pay extra towards their loans after enrolling in those changes, because that's going to significantly help your outlook on paying off your loans. So thanks for joining me today. That's all I got. I'll probably do another video on more specific stuff on student loan forgiveness, but for now, hopefully that's a good broad information for you. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel if you're new here, and you want to get some useful content on taxes, on government relief stuff that's happening. I'm here for you. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you found this video helpful, please smash the like button. I'd really appreciate that. And take care for now. Stay safe. I'll see you next week. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a sticker. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick.